Good morning, Metaverse. I'm Thor with the OCG and Mafia Guilds, and today I'm going to talk about Pegaxy and some of the things that I look at when trying to decide, is this game on the decline or is it about to break out? So let's get right into that. Quick note. Always do your own research. I am not a financial advisor. I do not do this professionally. These are just my personal thoughts and what I'm going to do for my own portfolio. With that in mind, back to the video. The first thing I look for play to earn games is the Discord, the community behind the play to earn game. That is the number one most important thing to look at. And there's a couple things that we can find out and glean from the Discord. First of all, I take a look at the size of that Discord, the size of the community that backs the interest in the game. And so we have 143,000 Pegaxians. Okay, that's a pretty big server for any game. So it developed a pretty large following, and for anything like that to just dissipate in a matter of months or even weeks is not really realistic. The second thing that I look at within the Discord is actually the involvement of the development team with the community and how much interaction there is. Now with Pegaxy, there's a lot of interaction between the development team and a lot of communication as far as where they are in the project. They constantly send out notices about any changes that they're making. They do AMAs all the time. Corey is one of the development team members that does the face-to-face AMAs, does live AMAs, and really answers a bunch of stuff that the community has brought up. So they bring questions that the community has been asking and they answer them. And when they're problem solving and trying to find better ways to play the game and to interact with the game, they reach into the community and get good ideas from them. And I've seen that on several occasions. Then from there, the interactions that the development team has, also sort of subcategory to that would be, what are they making the improvements on? Because there is hype and there's advertising, and then there's actual development of the game. How do we make this more fun? Are they working on ways to interact with the game better? And the answer to that question is a resounding yes. We have a couple things that are newer to Pegaxy, and let me go over to actually the marketplace. When we're looking for Pegas, they shifted a few things in regards to the time cooldowns for Pegas to be able to race after breeding. And so what they also did was they added on the marketplace a little tab that gets you to the Pegas that are available and can race now, that they don't have a cooldown time, and or they can breed because there's a breeding cooldown that was added. So they didn't just add things to slow down and to counteract the massive amount of vigorous that was being generated, but they also in kind made it almost easier to find the right type of Pegas that you're looking for, opposed to accidentally buying one that can't race for 3 days. That would be a bad thing, and that was sort of a response and communication with the community. They heard the problem and they solved the problem. So when you look at projects that are phasing out, the development team is not focused on fixing problems and coming up with good, thoughtful solutions. But that's what you're seeing in Pegaxy. So that's a really good sign. And then we look at where they are in their roadmap and what they've accomplished. And that kind of falls right in line with that. Is they've been hitting their marks with their roadmap and the things that they want to create this game into. They want to add the skill-based playing aspects. They see the challenges with the reduction in the price of Viz and the price of PGX, and so they're working on items that are going to improve that. They did an announcement just a little bit ago that they're ramping up to get Themis out, which is the governance structure for Pegaxy, where you can actually use the PGX coin, and now that makes it valuable because you can start the voting process of that. So those are things that they use on a regular basis to direct their development. They're on top of the inevitable scamming that goes on in the play to earn game area, and they try to protect their players as much as possible. They're not acting like a rug pull. They're acting like a legitimate, really well put together development team for Pegaxy. And then the next thing I want to talk about is the community as a whole. And so you'll see some of these announcements that are coming through, like the guilds, for example, the guild list. These are, guilds that have anywhere from a couple hundred to several thousand Pegas in their guild. And this list keeps growing and growing. And as you see that tells you that the community is not running away from the project. The community is still coming in. Now, you have the early adoption and the spike in population just from the initial launch of Pegaxy, but as this game becomes more skill-based and they start releasing parts of the roadmap, like getting the arena portion of the game involved and the different activities that you can use with improving the Pega's food is one of the roadmap adds to the game to make it more fun and more challenging, a little bit more dynamic, to improve the Pega's performance, those type of things, as well as the graphic work that they have on the game is actually really quite good. And for how early on they are in the development of their project. So those are things that I look at strongly to see whether this project is declining or it's about to break out. So the last thing that I'm going to look at is actually the price action of the Viz and PGX coins versus the market as a whole. So I'm going to go and compare it to Bitcoin, because the way that Bitcoin goes, everything else follows. What I'm looking for is general correlation. If the market as a whole, or if the major mover of the market, Bitcoin, is going up and Pegaxy, the Viz, and PGX coin are going down, it's significant, for several weeks or even a month at a time, and it's going counter to the market, then something is up. Something's wrong with the program protocol. If it's paralleling what's happening, then that's to be expected. I wouldn't expect Pegaxy to break the mold long term and show month after month of increasing when the entire rest of the market is going down. If that happened, then that's happy days for everybody. But so I'm looking at Bitcoin for the last 180 days, and so we had this rise up to the 67,000, right? And then we had a decline. And so this is in November. So this is right after Pegaxy just launched in October into November. And so as this whole thing's going down, Pegaxy was having its price discovery. And you had some major spikes in there. I jumped in on the peak of one of those, so I'm very aware of that. But as a whole, the market has been suppressed and has been in this downturn and had several large drops, very volatile in this bottom here. And so when I look at Vigorous and PGX, so let me go to that, and I'm looking at it in the 180 day. So December is where the price starts off, right? And so that was at the downturn of the rest of the market. Okay, and this little section is you just launched a project, it gets a spike and then it comes down, then you get this rise because people are picking up the project. If it has a future, right? Everybody wants to be a part of it, and now it's coming back down. This is still kind of price discovery, but we're having this turn and it's sort of flatlining here, and that's what I've been seeing happen, is more of this flat line. It's not broken out of the downturn fully, but it's definitely looks like it could at any point. And there's nothing vastly wrong with this compared to the rest of the market. If this was in a straight nosedive, none of these recovery points, then there's some serious problems with the project. But this is trying to find where that bottom is, and we were talking about the very early version of the game. Somewhere out here is when we start adding the skill-based parts of the game, start increasing the fun of the game, they're constantly improving the interaction with the game, the amount of wallets that can work with it, the onboarding, being able to swap Viz and PGX and USDT all within the same application, making it so much easier to be involved and use the game. The ease of using the scholarship program, leasing, and maximizing the operations of your NFTs. These are all things that are in Pegaxy. They have come up with very good solutions as a whole compared to most other games out there. I'm feeling confident that in the long run, we're going to see Pegaxy actually survive and thrive as we go forward. I also, this is a personal thought, that cryptocurrency is going to start recovering and do much better in the years to come. And so with a little bit longer term perspective on Pegaxy, I'm very confident about that. With the short term, anything can happen. And there's black swan events that you don't know what's going to happen. We see that in the world today, and I'm feeling pretty confident that Pegaxy is going to be one of those projects that are able to survive through the hard times and make it to the next bull run and be a great project to get into. Hope you found this video helpful. Don't worry about liking or subscribing, but if you know someone that would find this useful and would take action on it, then please share it with them. And if you can do that, then today was a good day. Good morning, Metaverse.